Lael opened his eyes wide with shock.
What? You can't be serious, right? I don't want to fight you!
Oh, that's awesome. It'll be less work I have to put up with.
He ran towards Lael and was going to hit him again, but Lael ducked and punched him in his stomach.
What is wrong with you? I thought we were friends!
Lael felt betrayed. Again.
I guess I can tell you now.
He said as he recovered from the punch.
I was born here, actually, in Jaise. I moved to your country to keep our alliances between our country and my island strong.
Damon kicked Lael right between the legs, making him scream with pain.
And you see, I was kind of bored of just happening to be a moving pawn. So I decided to work on my cover and I became Damon, the hard-working FBI inspector that everyone liked. The only people who knew where I was from were your boss and your boss's boss.
Damon grabbed Lael by the hair. Lael was still in pain, shocked with everything he was saying. He already understood that Thaddeus and Carver were hiding many things from everyone else, but he wasn't expecting that.
Oh, I have nothing against you, Lael. I was surprised you managed to run away. But then you got yourself caught. I was expecting more from you, to be honest. I know how you are. I know who you are. That's why I got disappointed that I ended up fighting you.
Why do you think you'll always win, huh? Don't climb too far in your confidence. Someone might cut it down, and the fall will result in fatality.
With a quick movement, Lael fetched the razor hid in his bracelet with his fingers and sliced Damon's neck as deep as he could. He had stolen the razor from Ray when he bumped into her. Damon's eyes widened and he grabbed his neck, trying to stop the bleeding. Lael stood up and elbowed him right in the neck. Damon began to cough blood. Ray was going to interrupt, but Lael looked at her with a death stare.
Don't you dare interrupt! The fight must continue until there's one winner, am I wrong? And there's no rule that prohibits the use of sharp objects, right?
Ray stopped and looked at the crowd, which was crazy, cheering up for Lael. They thought everything was part of the show, so Ray let it flow. Damon was struggling to breathe while trying to fight in vain.
I knew you were...
Damon tried to speak, but was interrupted as Aiken stepped on his wound. Lael had a sadistic smile as he pressed his foot more and more. He was going to speak when something caught up his attention in the crowd. He noticed a guy falling dead while some began to run and others looked confused towards everywhere.
What the fuck?
The shot must have been from a gun with a silencer. Another dead body fell to the ground. This time, it was a young boy that was watching. Lael looked at Damon, who now was just a pile of human waste. Lael looked around, starting to acknowledge what he had done. Ray was in panic and started to run, but was caught by a shadow that slit her throat in a blink of her eyes. Lael looked at the shadow and opened his eyes wide.
It's the second fucking time we're going to rescue. I hope there isn't going to be a third.
Edath spoke, bringing her usual mask and cloak. She moved fast and killed 2 other men that tried to stop her, burying her knife in one's head and breaking the neck of the other. Lael was unable to move, mesmerized by her swift moves. When Edath was done, she looked at Lael and at who was near him. She took a step back and then moved fast towards Lael.
Whoa, Edath! You aren't gonna slap me, are you?
He recoiled a bit, but she ignored him and bent down to study Damon's corpse.
BTVA?
BTVA? What's that supposed to mean?
Did you kill him?
Aiken didn't know if he should lie or tell the truth, but as he knew, she could see right through his lies. He simply nodded. Edath stood up slowly and stayed still for a few seconds. She suddenly kicked Damon's head several times. Lael took a few steps back, completely confused and scared about what was going on. He looked around and saw Nael with his rifle, running towards them with a worried face. He was gesturing, "Hurry up," with his hands. Lael touched gently Edath's shoulder, afraid. Edath faced him and punched him right in his stomach with all her might. making him fall on his knees with pain and with trouble in breathing.
You had no right!
She ran towards the forest. Lael got even more confused.
Is it just me, or... Her voice seemed frustrated.
He thought as he started to stand up slowly, feeling even more pain as the adrenaline was slowly disappearing. Lael helped him, giving him a piggyback, running to where Edath had gone to. Lael slowly opened his eyes.
Did I fall asleep?
He looked around. He was at their house, lying down on his mattress. Lael was looking at Lael with a concerned expression, making him get up fast.
What happened? Where's Edath?
Lael asked as he remembered how she reacted when she came to rescue him. Lael scribbled down on his notebook, but before handing it out to Lael, Simon appeared.
She went to the beach. You should go talk to her.
Look, I'm sorry that
We can talk later. The one you should talk to now is her.
Simon interrupted, moving to his office behind the curtain and closing it, meaning he didn't want to be disturbed. Lael sighed and looked at Lael. Lael looked back and nodded.
I'll go talk to her now.
He announced and exited the room, running. In a few minutes, he arrived to the beach. As he was making his way there, he remembered everything that happened. A shiver went down his spine as he recalled the feeling of killing those people and how he felt when he did that. Lael shook his head, trying to suppress those thoughts. He looked around, trying to find Edath. Aiken noticed her next to a tree. She was sitting down, hugging her legs as she was contemplating the sea with a neutral expression. Lael took a deep breath and approached her. She looked at him and then looked away, not saying a word. He noticed she was still with the cloak, but the mask was near her by the sand. Lael didn't know what to say. She looked really vulnerable, and he wasn't used to her behaving like that. He decided to sit next to her, and for a couple of minutes, they didn't say anything until Edath decided to speak.
I'm sorry.
Lael looked at her with a mix of confusion and surprise. He was expecting to hear everything coming from her except for that.
No. I'm the one who owes you an apology.
Oh yeah, you definitely owe us more than that for running away like you did, you shithead.
She looked at him from the corner of her eyes, visibly tired and pissed off. Lael smiled for a little bit.
At least she's back to her normal self. I definitely do. I'm indebted to you forever for saving me again. I don't even know what to say to justify my actions.
The more he talked, the more he acknowledged the consequences of his decision.
I just apologize for punching you because you would never know what you did wrong.
What do you mean?
She looked at him for a couple of seconds before she bluntly said,
You killed my brother, Lael.